Hey guys, me Nick Rock Jock here. It's been a while since I've seen you guys, but I just want to give you guys a quick channel update. It's been almost 7 months since we've even uploaded our last, our video. Of course, the last time you saw us, we're saying UWA was going to be taking a little hiatus because, with our busy scheduling with Luke, with Steven, myself, with me working. Now Luke's working. I'm trying to run a business on the side. I just had to sacrifice a few things in life, like UWA, but I've been able to work out a few things. And, yes, it's true, folks. UWA is indeed coming back. It's coming back. And it's going to be better than ever, and I guarantee it. And all I ask is, for those of you guys who are still with us, following us, I just want to thank you for your patience. You didn't give up on us, and I promise you, you're going to definitely look forward to it. It's going to be worth the wait, the 7-month-long wait. It's going to be well worth it. UWA is coming back in December, and my goodness, there's going to be so much new changes, and folks, I don't even know where to begin. And everything, so many changes, so many different new characters, so many new different storylines, and the one thing that we decided is, one, is that we don't want to just leave off the storyline where we left off. When we come back in December next month, what we're going to do is we're going to basically start from where the storylines would be, progressing it as if UWA never left, as if we were still keep on doing this. So basically, right around claim to fame is around the time period we'll be coming back to UWA, and you'll be showered in UWA's ultimate greatness. But basically, you'll notice a few different changes. Obviously, been shaking things up here. And the first thing you'll probably notice is UWA is going to have a new logo. This is symbolized change. A much greater look, a great different feel. But it's going to be I promise you, the same storyline, a great storyline, the same editing. We're not going to be half-assing it at all like the other colleagues do. The reason why you guys stuck down with UWA for 3 years. It's all about you, the fans. We're not gonna give up. We're not gonna half-ass anything. I guarantee you that. And the format of UWA is gonna be a little different than it used to be. It used to be where you got 2 episodes of Assault and a CPV every month. Now we're gonna have 2 different shows and a CPV. See, we're still gonna have our episodes of Assault. But now we're going to have 2 shows. We're going to have Assault and we're going to have Double X Factor. Obviously, Assault, you have all the male characters duking it out. And on Double X Factor, you're going to have all the Double X's, all the female characters on their own separate little show. And the last time when we left off, folks, and now the franchise player, or should I say, Alex Richards, is now to his old self here in UWA. He's now the top heel on the entire show. He won the Master Ring, and he made 2 earth-shattering wishes on the same night. First, he used the Master Ring to wish back this man right here. That's right, the one-man nation himself, Von Creed. Of course, if you remember Pandemonium 11, he was fired after losing the Anonymous title to Vicious. Von Creed, the franchise player, they joined forces, and now they're calling themselves the Franchise Nation. And my God, now they're just dominant. They're the dominant heel faction in the entire team. And it takes almost the likes of The Destroyer, Gene Starwind, Ace of Spades Luke Fowler, and Spike and Mitch Watterson just to combat these 2. Let's talk about a new guy you'll be seeing here shortly in the UWA, Murphy Law. That's right. Right after Pandemonium, there were these eerie promos, kind of like the same type of promos you saw when when Lord Magma, right before he came to Pandemonium 9 a couple years ago. These eerie messages saying something about chaos ensuing, all things that can happen will happen. No one knew what it meant until Beach Party Slam. Murphy Law, for crying out loud, he took out Perfect Cell single-handedly. Cell's no longer even part of UWA anymore because after what happened to him by Murphy Law in that very ring. And as I'm saying, Broly didn't very much better to Murphy Law either. So with these 3 men together, you're just asking a recipe for disaster. But folks, the one thing I know all you guys want to know is the Lost Society. I mean, we last left off back at Pandemonium. You know, Lost Society dominated the tag team scene. I mean, Rabbit and Arisea, they're still the women's tag team champions. Ego and Gunther Wolf are still the UWA tag team champions. And now with the Beast on their side, they're just even more dominant than they were before. I mean, right after Pandemonium, we saw Ego pull out a gun in the 3 Stages of Hell match on the Gridiron Greats. And people were wondering what was the future in store for the Lost Society. Well, it turns out that if you all recall that, you know, at Pandemonium, prior to their match, prior to the 3 Stages of Hell match, you know, the Gridiron Greats, they said the Lost Society, you know, you guys better watch your backs. And, you know, and of course in Kemlon, where, you know, it was in Heathen's Road Kemlon, of course, that's considered a threat. By Egoman pulling out a gun and shooting him in Kemlon, that's considered self-defense. So the Lost Society were acquitted for any type of crimes they may have committed. So when they came back to the States, of course, they received so much heat. The Enforcer wanted to strip them of the titles and fire them, but the Gridiron Greats and Brave Hesperia pleaded, don't fire them, don't strip them of the tag team titles, we'll take care of them ourselves. Because both those teams, as proud fighters and warriors, defenders that the Gridiron Greats and Brave Hesperia are, they want to take care of Lost Society their own way. And of course, the Enforcer gave them his blessing. He didn't fire anybody. He didn't strip anyone of the tag team championships. Brave Hesperia at Mastering had an opportunity to take back those titles from Lost Society, and they failed. No thanks to some outside interference, but they failed. You know. And then Raven, he's indefinitely on the injured reserve. He's not on the active roster at this point. I mean, what Lost Society did to him after the match, brutalizing him, they hobbled Raven. If you don't know what I mean by hobbling somebody, watch the movie Misery by Stephen King. You'll understand what I'm talking about. That's exactly what happened to Raven, and he's not going to be making any wrestling match appearance for a long ass time. And then what happened at Beach Party Slam, when it was the Gridiron Greats, when they were finally recuperated, you know, they came up a little short on defeating Lost Society. Lost Society remained victorious and still the UWA Tag Team Champions. But the future was uncertain for the Gridiron Greats because Plaxico Burress, of course, went back to the NFL to play for the New York Jets. So Michael Span was by himself fighting the good fight all alone. So by the time Beach Party Slam came along, Lost Society had decimated the tag team scene in the UWA. But however, a new tag team would come along, a fantasy tag team, then this dynamic duo, yes, Keenan and Kel. Of course, everyone who grew up in the 90s knows exactly who Keenan and Kel were. And it was all a huge surprise at Bloodshed or September CPV. And now Michael Stern's in the corner of Keenan and Kel, and they've been helping them through thick and through thin. And ever since Bloodshed, that was back in late September, Keenan and Kel have actually been able to defeat the Lost Society in singles competition, as well as a few tag team non-title matches. Now let's talk about the double X's for a little bit. A lot has changed since Pandemonium 11. The last thing we saw was Mona Loca defeating Coco and Ursula Ariano to become the new women's champion. A huge moment indeed in the young career of Mona Loca. But that title run was very short-lived, only for a few months. No thanks to Stacey Hardy and Pink Angel. And I'll get to that in a second. What happened was, in just the span of a few months, Stacey Hardy's putting 3 double X's on the shelf. The same women that headlined Pandemonium 11. Ursula Ariano, Coco, and Mona Loca. With a shocking swerve of them all, Pink Angel came out, surprised everybody, and these two women, who of course were feuding at Pandemonium, all of a sudden were in collusion. Because you see, Pink Angel has this insane mindset in her mind. She absolutely just despises people like Coco and Mona Loca, and she knows since she can't fire them, the only person that she can think of that can actually manage to get rid of those two from the company would be Stacey Hardy. And of course, Stacey Hardy would agree to work with Pink Angel because Stacey Hardy wants to be women's champion, and the only way she's going to do that is by being in collusion with Pink Angel to take out Mona Loca and Coco. And then let's talk about Renegade Diva and Crimshana Blade for a second. I mean, right now Renegade Diva actually has 3 different feuds that she has going on for her right now. Ever since Pandemonium, Crimshana Blade, well, long story short, she was able to figure out how to stay in her Himalayan dragon form, and now she's just as unstoppable as ever. But she's been having a few matches with Renegade Diva. Now Renegade Diva's been elevated up to here, able to go toe-to-toe with Crimshana Blade, and these two have been doing a lot of one-upsmanship for over the last few months. And these two women are actually in a race to see who's going to be facing Stacey Hardy for Women's Championship by Claim to Fame. Now, at Halloween Night Bash, there was a match between Renegade Diva and Crimshana Blade to see who would face Stacey Hardy at Claim to Fame, and with some outside interference, Crimshana Blade was victorious, and now she'll be facing Stacey Hardy for Women's Championship in a huge dream match at Claim to Fame in December. A former WWE diva reinventing herself here in the UWA, and of course, Renegade Diva is taking exception to that because one of her big shticks is that she has to just take exception to how mainstream pro wrestling personifies women. You get your Kellys, your Bella Twins, and then of course you go into TNA where you're going to knock on people like your Velvet Skies eating up all the airtime. That just pisses off Renegade Diva because these women are getting more exposed or getting more airtime, more spotlight than the women in the UW who are busting their asses, changing the wrestling, changing the wrestling industry one day at a time, and she takes exception to when any knockout or diva tries to take any spotlight away from her by coming into the UWA, like what Mickie James did when she was in the UWA recently. Now Valkyria, also known as a former WWE diva, comes in, and these two are naturally just gonna feud with each other. And of course, Erin Emmy after she defeated Wildfire in a dream match at Pandemonium 11, she's still the Double X champion. Aside from that outside interference, that match she had with Renegade Diva, Erin Emmy, has been undefeated ever since she's been Double X champion. Made a statement saying that how she was so dominant and destructive in the UWA. Stacey Hardy took an exception, saying that Stacey Hardy thinks that she's the more dominating Double X in the UWA, and these two have just been going back and forth on the mic ever since. Lord Magma, he basically has an undead bounty hunter / Ghost Rider gimmick going on, and ever since he's come back, old scene for some reason has been feeling very uneasy. There's this cloud of uncertainty, this cloud of darkness has been following Lord Magma everywhere he goes. Weird shit's been going on. When Lord Magma came back, he was briefly the No Limits champion because he cashed in one of the risk reward briefcases to win it. But this unknown force, this type of force that consumed Endora when she transformed into Wildfire. Same exact thing is going on with Lord Magma. No one knows what it is, but for some reason, old Steven might know a few things on what's going on, and because of that, Lord Magma is after his ass. And now old Steven's doing commentary. He no longer feels safe in the UWA anymore. So one thing you'll notice when we start doing UWA again, I'll be doing commentary by myself because old Steven is too afraid to keep doing his job in the UWA because he's afraid that Lord Magma is going to send him to hell and whatnot.